I have been outlining how artificial intelligence continues to rapidly evolve. Every single day, it seems like there's a new platform out there that's doing completely different things with AI to simplify everyday life. But what if I told you that this is the starting point to a very scary future where the elites have total control? That's right. In this video, we are going to be addressing this, going down the rabbit hole of control through artificial intelligence, all mapped out by the elites. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. If we take a quick look at this post going all the way back to 2023, there was a post from AI Magazine, and it was experts say humans could be wrestling AI for control by 2035. Now, the problem with this is everyone is looking at this and saying, all right, well, it's 2035. The thing to really address when it comes to AI is how fast it is advancing, which means any time frame prediction is probably going to be wrong, because I do assume that this is probably going to happen a lot sooner because of how fast the evolution of this tech actually is. And if we actually look at this, it said tech leaders are split about how much control people will retain over essential decision making as digital systems and AI spread, according to Pew Research. Now, if we think about this logically, what is being pushed right now by the elite organizations? We're more so looking at the World Economic Forum, the IMF, the World Bank, the BIS. Well, the main things that we are really kind of looking at and noticing is finance. They want digital finance to be the big thing, because realistically speaking, phones right now already have AI built within them. Look at X as well. A lot of these platforms, these social media platforms, they already have AI built within them. With Grok on, X, this is becoming very noticeable now. But when we think about finance has yet to be fully digital. And that's what they're trying to do right now. And this is through CBDCs, through automation, machine learning. But the job force is the big thing to focus on, because there's still a lot of jobs that are, based around paper-based processes that the elites are trying to automate with AI. And as we do really kind of look at that, 5 months ago, we saw this from Reuters, which was artificial intelligence hitting labor forces like a tsunami. And this is actually from the IMF chief, Kristalina Georgieva. And from this, we got multiple reports regarding economies and the impact that AI will have on them. In this, they said artificial intelligence is likely to impact 60% of jobs in advanced economies and 40% of jobs around the world in the next 2 years. We're not talking about by 2035. We're not talking about 2030. We're talking about in the next 2 years. We have very little time to get people ready for it, businesses ready for it, she told the event organized by the Swiss Institute of International Studies. Okay, so this is very interesting. And then from the World Economic Forum, and if you guys do remember this, this is at Davos. This was back in January of this year. And the 4 key topics here were artificial intelligence as a driving force for the economy and society is a key theme at the World Economic Forum's annual meeting. Advances in technology have the potential to help us solve global challenges, but innovation and guardrails are essential. Read about some of the key sessions, reports, and initiatives at Davos 2024 on AI, innovation, and technology. And if we actually look into this, they were talking about the same exact thing, but the numbers were different. And this is how quick these numbers are changing. It finds almost 40% of employment globally is exposed to AI, which rises to 60% in advanced economies. Among workers, those that are college educated and women are more exposed to AI, but also more likely to reap the benefits, while strong productivity gains could boost growth and wages. We know that this is all nonsense. It's worded by the World Economic Forum to make you feel like AI is a great thing. But let's just be honest here. Although, yes, there's pros and cons to every sort of technology, AI has a very big con to it, which is, yes, eventually AI will advance so fast and so much to the point where, yes, jobs are going to be replaced. And it's a very large percentage of those jobs. But also, as we look at this post here, this was January 14th as well. This is from the IMF. generative AI, artificial intelligence, and the future of work. Now, again, don't focus on the wording so much because the IMF, just like the World Economic Forum, are in the same exact boat together. We have AI has the potential to reshape the global economy, especially in the realm of labor markets. Advanced economies, again, they're focused on advanced economies, will experience the benefits and pitfalls of AI sooner than emerging markets and developing economies, largely due to their employment structure focused on cognitive intensive roles. There are some consistent patterns concerning AI exposure, with women and college-educated individuals more exposed but also better poised to reap AI benefits, and older workers potentially less able to adapt to the new technology. So they are definitely going to replace a very significant amount of, workers. But they also mention inequality in the labor income side, which may increase if the complementarity between AI and high-income workers is strong, while capital returns will increase wealth inequality. Interesting. Now, the big thing to focus on is how will they gain control? What is the control mechanism around this? Is it just, replacing jobs and all of a sudden here's your UBI and you're, limited on how you can spend it, use it, all that? No, it's actually not. In fact, Whitney Webb addresses how the elites will create a new class of slaves through AI. Check this out.
Yeah, it's hard to know exactly why, but I think it's important to say that at least in my opinion, I think where the powers that be, however you want to define that, are taking people is essentially leading us to some sort of two-tier society where there is really no need for a middle class, and it's really more accurately described as like a neo-feudal style society, where you have a large underclass managed by sort of this more elite group that would do the managing. And I think it really falls under what some people have referred to as technocracy, sort of this idea of more of like a scientific dictatorship. And there's actually this prominent figure from the Club of Rome named Dennis Meadows, and the Club of Rome is an entity that has a very intertwined history with groups that have become infamous over the past several years, like the World Economic Forum, for example. But Dennis Meadows essentially said something to the effect that, for the good of people and the planet and the economy, and in his words, that it was going to be necessary to either reduce the world's population so that people could have freedom and use resources the way they want, or that there would have to be a scientific dictatorship imposed on 8 billion or 7 billion people in order to ensure accurate allocation of resources and all of this stuff by a educated, technocratic, scientific elite. And there are some thinkers in Silicon Valley, like Eric Schmidt, for example, who wrote a book on AI with Henry Kissinger, that essentially say that there's going to be this sort of future brought to us by AI, where there will be the class of people that understand how AI works, that program and maintain it. And then there will be this underclass, really, they don't say underclass, but I would say that, of people who AI acts upon, who can't understand what AI is doing to them. And eventually, because of their dependence on AI, will become cognitively diminished and mentally unable, essentially, to make decisions for themselves without AI's help. And there's a lot of other indications, I would argue, whether it's UBI, which again is going to be for I don't think, the top oligarchs in Silicon Valley, like Bill Gates and Reid Hoffman and Peter Thiel, are going to be receiving UBI. I think it's intended to be for other people that aren't necessarily in that economic tier. I think it's very likely you're going to see, if these people succeed in their designs, really more of a two-tier society without any sort of need for a middle class. And so I think that's part of why it's been happening. And I think, as to why they might be playing with fire, I think perhaps they're confident that they have a lot more, it's much easier to manipulate people now than perhaps in times past. For example, there was a 2014 research study that was funded by the U.S. Air Force that was about studying how to use social media to control people like drones. Which I think is a very disturbing research proposal in and of itself. But basically this idea that you could use social media networks by tailoring what information people see and don't see down to the individual based on data mined about them off of the internet and then analyzed by various algorithms to basically, essentially mind control people and, in the world, in the words, I guess, of that Air Force proposal. And, other militaries around the world have spent millions upon millions of dollars over the past decade plus researching how to manipulate people on social media platforms. So I think it's very possible that they think they can manage it, since a lot of, discourse has become increasingly online, and that, they can really alter how people perceive reality to unprecedented degrees. And another thing that's brought up in this book by Schmidt and Kissinger talks about, eventually people won't be able to know what's real and what's not, either pointing to things like AI deepfakes and things like that. But what if these deepfakes are wielded by the state to manipulate people? And what if we're led to believe that things happened when they didn't happen? This can be a lot of the fear mongering about deepfakes is when it's in the hands of, an alleged cyber criminal or someone like that. But, there's states around the world that have an arsenal of these digital weapons that are meant to manipulate us and our perception of reality and what's real. And if you can, use AI or other means to control how people perceive reality, you can control their behavior and a lot of other things. So I think they're confident in that. And obviously there's probably other things that I'm leaving out, but that's, sort of what comes to mind, at least at first for me.
So there we have it, right? And this is actually a very good point. The fact that humans will rely so heavily on AI at some point in time that they need it. They need AI to do anything. And through that, they can control us because they will have control over AI systems. The same exact way that BlackRock, for an example, is controlling Aladdin. And also BlackRock and these elites, they are actually pushing massive investments into AI. For example, back in May, BlackRock was in talks with governments about investments to power AI. And then more recently, September 17th, Microsoft BlackRock to launch a $30 billion fund for AI infrastructure. And if we actually look at this, right, this is to invest in artificial intelligence infrastructure to build data centers and energy projects, the company said on Tuesday. AI models, especially those used for deep learning and large-scale data processing, require substantial computational power, leading to higher energy consumption. So now they want to string together thousands of chips and clusters to achieve the necessary amount of data crunching power, leading to a surge in the demand for these specialized data centers. So they are advancing the AI economy, and they will have control over this through these data centers that they are going to be building. And the partnership will mobilize up to $100 billion in total investment potential when including debt financing, the company said. So this is very, very interesting. And even more in depth on this, we could actually go over here to Microsoft that did put out a post on September 30th titled Elevating Investment Management Tech AI-Powered Leadership from BlackRock and Microsoft. And even within this, they do talk about the advancements and how this is going to reshape client journeys, enhancing analytics and increasing automation across the sector. But what they're not telling you is that along with this automation, along with this advancement, say goodbye to your jobs, say goodbye to control, because you are going to have to rely so heavily on AI that these massive elite companies control, which ultimately gives control to these companies. Because now they can control you, they can control what the AI is actually, spitting out. And the same goes with, the announcement that Elon Musk made back in roughly like 2023. We have they're training an AI to lie. This is bad. This is wrong. Elon Musk, well educated on the subject far prior to many, attempted multiple times to point out that we must have open AI and not have it be badly manipulated. Check this out.
What's happening is they're training the AI to lie.
Yes.
It's bad.
To lie. That's
lie.
exactly right. And to withhold information.
To lie and yes, comment on some things, not comment on other things, but not to say what the data actually demands that it say.
How did it get this way? I thought
It's-
you funded it at the beginning. What happened?
Yeah, well, that'll be ironic. But faith, the most ironic outcome is most likely, it seems. What's happening?
So, yeah, I mean, as we really think about what's going on here, AI is at that point where these companies can control it. They can train it. BlackRock, Microsoft, you know how these companies work. You know what they want. They want control. They want power. They want to be the ones that are driving the vehicles. And now more than ever before, the human population is at risk of sacrificing control for essentially anything. It can be making their life easier. Oh, hey, guess what? Now schoolwork just got a lot easier because, you don't really have to know anything. You could just train AI to, give you out prompts on how to do this, how to do that, or give you the answers to your test. It's making the population dumber. It's dumbing people down. And it's also, at this current moment in time, the perfect time for these elites to do this. Why? Well, because majority of the population cannot pay attention for more than 3 minutes, 5 minutes, because they're taught to constantly doom scroll on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook Reels. Like, this is the problem. This is the problem with society right now. We are so fragile, and these elites know it. So now they're pushing AI. They're pushing the AI narrative, and it's becoming so big, it's becoming too big to ignore. And this is exactly how they gain control. And just like Whitney Webb is saying, yeah, they want to get rid of the middle class. The way that they get rid of the middle class is by utilizing AI to eliminate a substantial amount of jobs, which they even mention here on how the labor income inequality is actually going to increase because of AI and high income workers. But what they're not telling you is this is all by plan. This is what they want. This is the big concern around AI that everyone should have. You need to wake up. It's not just about, hey, I could use AI to do this or do that. It's also the fact that AI is becoming so advanced to the point where we don't have 5 years. We don't have 10 years. And ultimately, if the elites are telling you that you only have 2 years, you can expect this a lot sooner. AI is already hitting the jobs market in a very big way. So please wake up. Understand what is happening. With that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.